So I'm just enjoying a well-earned cup of tea after a morning of work, and I've been creating a compost bin setup from pallets, and quite happy with the way it's turned out. So if you stick around, watch the rest of the video, I'll show you the process that I went through to build the compost bin and garden wall structure. So this is the section where I want to make the compost bins, and in order to form a wall against the windward side, we pretty much get our winds sweeping over the top of that little ridge and really comes straight at us here. So I've already planted a few just willow whips, just shoved them in the ground a few months ago, and already they're starting to sprout, send up some new shoots. So with a bit of luck, they will continue to grow and form a nice little barrier. But in the meantime, I'm also going to put the compost bins along this section here, so they'll not only form a windbreak, but also obviously they function as a compost bin. Because they're at the highest point of this little garden here, it's a bit easier to move the compost down to the beds than upwards. So just put the first pallet there. I need to make sure there's different pallet sizes, so if you are going to do something similar, just make sure you use you're aware of the size of your pallets and that they're all uniform. Makes it a lot easier and looks a lot better. So I'm using that particular pallet, and I have a few of those, so I'll stick to that same configuration, and hopefully I'll have a nice even series of bins, probably maybe 3 bins, and that'll form a bit of a windbreak. It's not going to block all the wind, it's impossible up here, but it'll certainly be a start, and a nice quick and easy way of doing it using pallets. So this is what I've got to so far. I've placed out the pallets just to get a sense of where I'm going to put them. So I'm going to have 2 bins over there. They're really big because these are quite big pallets, but it means I'll be able to make a lot of compost. So I've got 2 there, and I have 1 on that section. So I'll be able to just, in this bed certainly, we can just put them straight into the bed. And then this corner here is a bit of a dead corner, so it doesn't matter which way you go around the corner, you're always going to have dead space. With kitchen cabinets, you always have a dead corner. So what I'm going to do there is I'm just going to plant a tree in that corner, maybe a fruit tree or something like that, and so making the productivity of this garden even further by having the fruit tree there, and I'm not losing that space then. So the next step now is to start attaching these. I'm probably going to use just pallet planks along the back, level them out, and start nailing them together and securing them down. So that's the next step. So the process I'm using just to get the pieces of plank to nail the pallets together, I'm literally just sawing up an old pallet. This was actually one that's quite decayed, but I'm managing to salvage some good pieces, just using a circular saw, and obviously quite carefully just running through and cutting the cross planks off between the joins, and that gives me long enough sections to nail the pallets together. So as I mentioned earlier, all I've done is just taken pallet planks, cut them up, and then just use them to join across, nailing into the support blocks on the pallets, and that's as simple as that, just nailing them along. I've staggered the nails, because usually working in a triangle fashion is stronger generally, so it's very quick and easy, and it's just still utilizing the pallets. So the last step I do now, these floating end bits, there's 4 bits that are essentially just floating, that aren't nailed to another pallet. I'm going to put some old fence posts in just to secure the ends. So I've got these longer ones, just going to cut them down, and I've got 2 of those. Cut them down, they're salvaged out of an old wall, and then I can use them to brace the 4 floating sides. So that's the next step. Right, so the way I've set it up, I've got 3 bins that can function as compost bins. As I said before, that's the prevailing wind side, so it's going to give some protection. So what I can do now, I have my garden beds here, and I can cycle my compost from one bin to the other, and then ultimately from that bin into the beds, or whatever combination I want to do. I can leave one bin to rot down material for a long time, and just turn one into the other over there, or I can use the 3 bin system. So it's really close to my beds. I can fill it up with any material that I take out of the beds, but also from scything in the fields. And yeah, it should work really well. It's pretty robust, quite happy with it. Now the next step is to fill it up with some material to rot down. This one I've started filling up with just the material I took out of the area I cleared for the bins, and I've also put in some workshop wood shavings, etc. This will take a while to rot down. It's not going to be a quick one. It's not a hot bin. It'll be a slow compost. It'll rot down slowly. But you know, it's all good stuff. Use material as you can, let it rot down, and then you essentially getting free compost. So yeah, that's it then, and thanks for watching.